Hey guys, thank you for tuning in for my Thursday night update. It's December 9th, 2021. We're inching our way to Christmas. I know I say that all the time, but it's the truth. It's getting more hectic on the roads going to a mall. I've been seeing it more and more congested, which is pretty cool because considering last year we were, in full swing of the pandemic. Even though there's different variants going on right now, I think everybody's going. Things are slowly getting back to normal, but traffic is something that I still don't like. So, I returned back to work this week, today, because I was in bereavement time, and the guys were really sweet at my job. They actually got me a grieving card, and everybody in my department signed it. And it was a lot of well wishes, condolences, and it touched my heart that my group came to my cubicle while I was working, and they gave me a hug and they told me whatever I need. If I need to chat with them, just let them know. And I was really appreciative about that. And also today it was I didn't know this, but today the company also provided hot chocolate and mini toast sticks. So I returned to work getting like a treat as well. I'm like, this is good. It's like thank you, Dad. But yeah. So with that, today is going to be the reason I'm wearing a tie today is because today we're doing a I Love Lucy clip show. We're going to talk about Lucy, and I wanted it to look like the 1950s, like the style of it, like Ricky Ricardo wearing this, coming back from the Tropicana, and Lucy wanting to get into his show. Whatever he did, like whether he was like in a motion picture or a play, she wanted to worm her way into the industry. But for right now, my buddy Ariana is joining me today to watch these Lucy clips and talk about I Love Lucy and everything about, because in the spirit of the Aaron Sorkin movie is coming out tomorrow in theaters, December 10th, and I believe you said it's coming out on Prime December 29th, right,
Yeah,
Ariana?
yeah.
Yeah. So, Ariana, thank you for joining us tonight. I really appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having me. Hi, everybody.
You're a show regular now, which I really love. And also, it took me a while to figure this out because I haven't worn a tie like in maybe like 2 or 3 years, and I'm really glad that I got this down. I was like, well, if it doesn't work, I'll just have it open and all that. But yeah,
Those things
uh,
are hard.
they are hard.
I had to figure out my husband's for Tammy's wedding. I don't know if you remember her, but there I am before the wedding figuring it
Yeah,
out.
and it's so frustrating. I'm like, he's like, a tie is not gonna win. I'm smarter than a tie. You know, but I figured it out. I'm glad. But you know what? With Lucy, what's crazy? I was, doing my research for today's show, and I didn't realize how many people still watch I Love Lucy every year. 40 million Americans still watch I Love Lucy, and this census was done last year, November 2020. So this is pretty recent. 40 million Americans still watch I Love Lucy, and it's in a show. It's an endearing show because it deals with like, domestic life and the neighbors, and
It's a timeless
it's
classic.
timeless classic, and it's a wholesome show, and like the shenanigans that Lucy gets into, as like the dress ups
I
and
was
just like.
telling my cousin in Mexico that I was going to be on talking about Lucy, and she's
Mhm.
like, "Yeah, I only watched it we would go to California and visit you because it's not in Mexico because they'd have to translate it and it wouldn't make sense." But
Yeah.
but it was hilarious. I like we have the best memories. Everyone watching it, all of us, different ages. My grandma, my mom, my
Yeah.
cousins, all of us watching it at the same time and enjoying it.
And it's still like, even though we watch the reruns, the jokes still land, and I love he's like, oh, this is that part, and
Hmm.
it's really good. And the way that I don't know how much about like the history of Isla Lucy and Desi Arnaz, and besides the show, you just watch the show, or do you know any of
I
the
don't know
like
a lot of the
behind the
history of
scenes?
the Tibbets, but I mean, except the Tibbet I sent you.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Desi Arnaz, he was from Cuba, and his father, he was the mayor of Santiago, like it was a major village in Cuba, and his family was from Providence. His mom was the heiress, or like her family created the Bacardi brand rum,
Oh wow.
and yeah, so when the first Cuban Revolution broke out in 1933, uh, Desi was 16 years old, and his father was imprisoned, and he had an uncle who was like a sheriff who kind of like helped his family, his dad, get out of prison and get them into Miami. But he said that Desi said that he remembers driving past his the mayor house, and they burnt it to the ground. Like all his family history was all burnt like in less than 10 minutes. And so he came to Miami, and at the time he said Miami wasn't Miami where it is now, which is mostly like Anglo-Saxon, Americans, and Jewish
Mhm.
people. So like Cubans were barely getting into Miami and made it into what it is today. So when Desi was young, he was he started out like from nothing. Like he had nothing in his pockets. His family came, they were rich, but now like they literally had nothing. So he started out cleaning canary cages and working at restaurants, and also eventually he started doing the nightclub scene. Doing the Babalu stuff. And that's how he started doing, getting into the clubs, and that's when he went to Hollywood to do this movie where he met Lucy Ball. Yeah,
That's crazy.
that is crazy, right? And
That's
it's really
crazy.
sad,
Like, 'cause in the show they do mention Santiago, but that a lot of it just came from their actual life,
Hmm.
like the stories, the big points, I guess you could say. Yeah.
Yeah, and like when they first met, Desi didn't really take to Lucy because she was like dressed. Because Lucy, she was hired to be like she was like a B actress in Hollywood. Like she wasn't really making a name for herself other than being a B actress or a model. And she was casted into this movie that had Ricky Ricardo in it. Ricky Ricardo, I keep on like Desi Arnaz. He will always be Ricky Ricardo to me, even it's Desi Arnaz,
Yeah.
But anyway, Desi and Ricky met in this movie, and it was called Too Many Girls. And one of the girls was Lucy, and they both the sparks were flying, and they got into each other. Like they started developing a relationship, and then they eventually got married. And it started like a tumultuous relationship because Desi was a womanizer, and later on he became a drunk, and that destroyed his legacy. But they created one of the most endearing shows of all time, which is I Love Lucy. But hey, Christina, hey guys, thanks for commenting. We're gonna watch the first clip right now. It's in the reason that we're watching this. The first one is where Ricky's doing the Cuban Pete, and Lucy, of course, she wants to get into his act, so she comes out to do her line in that, and it's on actually Emmanuel. It'll be on the YouTube one. It's the first clip, and yeah, it was this the Cuban Pete was part of his act in Miami when he was doing the whole Babalu thing. Yeah, and it reminds me like I always think about The Mask when I was also watched this clip. Remember?
Yes, that
Dick
I was
Woman?
gonna say that.
Yeah,
That it's
yeah,
always like they link together. Like I see them side to
yeah.
side type of thing.
Me too. Me too. Me too. And I, because of that, I also checked out the Mask clip too, and that was fun. They call me Cuban Pete. Something. There you go.
They call me Cuban Pete. I'm the king of the rumba beat. When I play the maracas, I go chick chicky boom, chick chicky boom. Yes, sir, I'm Cuban Pete. I'm the craze of my native street. When I start to dance, everything goes chick chicky boom, chick chicky boom. Then senoritas, they
To
sing and
what I
how
like
they
about this
swing
clip
with the
too is because
trumbero.
you can see
It's
the
very
chemistry.
nice.
The
So
chemistry
full
on
of
his camera
spice.
was very like it was there.
And when
You
they
wanted
dance,
to watch
they
Ricky and
bring a
Lucy.
happy ring, a very carol, singing a
And you know what?
song
He's just a
all
handsome
the
man to look
day
at too. The
long. So
dancing and how much he put
unite
into
to
it.
see,
So
take a
Yeah,
lesson from Cuban Pete, and I'll teach you to tick tick boom, tick tick boom, tick tick boom. See, señorita, I
the game
know
me
that
wants
you
to
will
master
like to
this
tick
thing.
tick boom, tick tick
do
boom.
It's
it.
like
Do
yeah, do
it.
the yeah.
Of Latin romance. And Cuban Pete doesn't teach you in a hurry like Castle Mary. I come from Havana, and there's always
Yeah.
mañana. So, señorita.
Here she comes.
Oh,
Ay,
no.
ay, ay.
They call me Sally Sweet. I'm the queen of everything goes chick,
That's
chicky, boom,
perfect.
chick, chicky, boom.
Ay, 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 ay.
Excuse me, Mr. Pete.
Yes, ma'am.
Have the Cubans a different beat? If they have, will you teach me to chick, chick, chicky, boom, chick, chicky, boom?
Si, señorita, I know that you will like the cheeky boom chick.
Yeah, man.
It's very nice, so full of spice. I place my hand on your hip, and if you will just give me your hand, then we shall try. Yes, you and I.
And then Jim Carrey comes out. It's the part where Jim Carrey runs away from the police. Remember? And that's why everybody loves Lucy.
And this is why we love
Yeah. See, like right there, just good timing. You know, it's all about timing. You know,
Mhm.
and yeah, with Lucy, the reason the Lucy I Love Lucy came to be is because Lucy Ball, she was casted in this radio show called My Favorite Husband, and CBS Studio, the execs, they said, we like that show. Can you develop the show into, you know, a sitcom? And she said, yeah, I could do it, but under one condition, my husband, Desi Arnaz, has to play my husband. And, you know, of course, the executives in 1950, like, it was like, it wasn't going to happen. They were like, there's no way America's going to buy, you know, a Latin guy getting married, hitched up to an American lady. No one's going to buy it because they're racist, you know?
Right.
And Lucy said, it's like, you know what, I'm going to prove you guys wrong. What she ended up doing was she did a tour of the I Love Lucy, like as a vaudeville type of show. And it was so popular that the executive said, okay, we'll do it your way. And then that's how she got Desi Arnaz to be Ricky Ricardo. And but it was just like, it was like a team effort. Ricky and Desi
And you gotta
and
work
Lucy.
for it.
Yeah, and they were not only did they have perfect like comedic timing, but they were very savvy business people as well. You know, they got the writers and the directors for sure. Like they made them, you know, they gave them the words, but it was their performances that they gave power to, you know, the script. You know,
Mhm.
that's really interesting. You know, like just how one thing led snowball to another thing. It's like the history, like, you know, so like American, you know, like what I like about Desi is like he's the American dream, you know, even
Yeah.
though like he was like came from, like he was a womanizer, he drank a lot, and man, like there was like they got into like basically they were fighting in front of the cast and crew, like they would get so toxic they would be yelling at each other, and then after everything's cooled down, like they just, you know, once they said action, they set aside their differences and they continued as Ricky and Lucy, you know. What was your favorite I Love Lucy moment, Ari?
There's so many, but I think like the Vita Vita Vegemin, that's
Yeah,
top favorite. The
that's one of the
wine. And then I think I mentioned when they're in Italy and little Ricky's birthday and
yeah. It's my birthday too. Yeah, no. Yeah, and all the village kids, they're like, it's my birthday, my birthday.
My birthday. And then at the end the little girl, it really is her birthday.
Yeah, that was really good. My other favorite one is where like Lucy forgot her passport and she
Yes,
was
on the
stuck in between
bicycle.
the borders. Oh my, it's just let me just go over, you know?
Yeah.
That was really funny. Yeah. And see, what did Christina say? I love the home movies episode. I love the home movies episode. Was that the one where I don't think I remember that one. I
I
remember,
think which one's that one? Yeah.
yeah, which one's that one? If you want to send us the link, Christina, you could just put in the comments and we could maybe look at it later. But yeah, there's like so many episodes. The next clip that we're gonna watch, it broke ratings history. This is called like. Let me just give you like the setup. They wanted like Lucy wanted to do like an episode where she was having a baby, but at the time it was taboo uh, to say somebody was pregnant. So that's why, like, when you see them in the room, they had separate beds because they couldn't do that. So they called this episode "Lucy Goes to the Hospital" or something like that, and she made it a point for her not to say "I'm pregnant." It's like, oh, she has to go to the hospital. And when this episode came out, it had 44 million people watching this episode, and it was basically almost everybody in the United States. Everybody who had a television set when this episode came out was watching this episode, and it's a groundbreaking episode because it was the first time, female character like in a sitcom who's the lead giving birth, to a national audience. So this is really funny. This is a really funny clip. Whenever you're ready, Emmanuel, you can play it.
Take it easy. Now listen, Rick, I'll tell you how we ought to do
Now
this.
wait a minute. I'm in charge of this thing. After all, I'm the baby's father.
Take over, Captain.
All right. Now let's see. Now, first of all, one of us has to call the doctor. Who's gonna do that?
I'll do that.
Okay. Soon as we get the signal, you rush to the phone.
Okay.
All right. Now you carry the suitcase.
Right.
I'll look after Lucy. I'll get her coat, see that she gets downstairs. All right, and we'll hail a cab. Now, let's rehearse.
Okay.
Good. Okay, let's go. Now, let's make believe that Lucy just came out of the bedroom, see? And she comes out of the bedroom and she says, "The time has come."
Fashion.
Go.
And they're all like cool about like,
So calm.
yeah, so calm.
Hello, Dr.
Coming to
Harris.
rescue.
We're leaving for the hospital with Mrs. Ricardo now. Goodbye.
Hey, that was pretty good. We did that in a few seconds.
Well, now let's do it again so we'll have everything perfect.
Okay.
Now the main thing is to be calm so we don't
With
get
two
Lucy
times,
excited.
you gotta
That's
down.
right. We gotta keep calm. Good.
Get
Say that
right
again?
to
All right.
Okay, so
With
we
two
start
times.
Get it over there.
You got it
You
down.
know
Oh,
what it
yeah,
was in the
yeah.
beginning now. Right.
back over there now.
Right. Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay. Now Lucy comes out of the room and she says, "The time has come." Go.
Hello, Dr. Harris. We're leaving for the hospital with Mrs. Ricardo now. Goodbye.
Hey, that was even better than before. Yeah, that was
Oh,
wonderful.
that's well organized.
Okay, now we know what to do. Now let's put the stuff right where it was so we know where everything is.
Now all we have to do is just wait.
That was fine, kids. That's wonderful. Oh, man. Just think. Tomorrow night at this time, I'm gonna be a father.
This is
Yes,
the
sir.
second season.
I'm going to be a godfather.
And I'm going to be a godmother.
Uh-huh.
And here she comes.
Ricky, this is it.
This is
The line is missing. Go, get a cop. Go get a cop. I'll get the cop.
Wait for me!
Lucy, this is no time to play games. Where are you, Lucy? Get her coat. Hey, go.
We're going to get right down and have their phone and I'm going to get back. Don't worry about it.
He learned, honey. He learned.
I need everything.
Listen, I'll get it. I'll get it.
basketball.
That was American
is
history right there,
back.
man. American
Screen
television
Reactor.
history. You know, was another thing that Lucy wrote Brown on. I Love Lucy is that they gave birth to like the way sitcoms are set up with like 3 cameras. You got like the one that's focusing on the main set, and then they break it down into like cover shots. You know, and it was the first time they started using a live audience in a sitcom show, and those practices are still used today. And yeah, it's ground. Like, did you know that stuff, Ariana, or are you just pure like spectator? Yeah.
I'm totally learning everything today.
Well, that's good. I'm glad I'm giving you like a little I Love Lucy, you know.
I Love Lucy 101.
Yeah, and that was the first show also because there's this other quality of stock that they filmed televisions, but it wasn't the best. And the best film stock to shoot, Desi wanted to do 35 millimeter, and 35 millimeter gave him the opportunity to look. They have the picture clean, and it gave them you know, like they could do potential reruns, which eventually they did, you know. And you know, Ricky was Desi was thinking about the future of you know, their property, and the executives of CBS, they says like we can't do that. Doing it on 35 is way too expensive. So what Desi and Lucy did is they did a cut. They cut their salary in order to get to shoot it on 35 millimeter, and on one condition, Desi said once the episode airs, we'll own the property to I Love Lucy. And of course, the CBS again seems like, this show's not going to go anywhere, and they ended up
Little did
regretting
they
that.
know.
Yeah, and that they owned the property. Well, for a while, for a very, very, very long time, until like they sold it back to CBS for a lot of money. And yeah, and you know, when at the height of I Love Lucy, Desi told Lucy at the 4th season, what we have like two options in our future. One, we could, you know, stop our show, sell our show, and just live off, you know, invest it into other properties, and we'll never have to work again. We'll see each other every day. We'll leave Hollywood behind, you know, and live a happy life. And then Lucy says, well, what's the other option? It's like, well, we'll be bigger than MGM. We'll be bigger than Fox. We'll be bigger than, you know, all those major motion pictures at the time, because we're going to make a name for ourselves. And Lucy wanted the second option. And that's what ended up happening. They bought eventually Desi, they bought this studio called RKO Studios for $6 million. And as they were practicing for the show of I Love Lucy, he was getting as Desi was securing the funds to purchase the studio. And the first owner of RKO Studios was John Hughes, and they were friends, and they called him up. It's like, hey man, I'm gonna buy this. You're gonna buy the old studio that you own for $6 million, and it comes with the cameras, the stage, the bungalows, everything. I get everything for $6 million. You think it's a good investment? And John Hughes says like, that's a great investment. You should do it. And they brought the property off a tire company that owned the movie studio. And yeah, that's pretty crazy, right? And because of that, Desi Lu Productions came to be. They started The Untouchables, which that in the 90s that became a movie that Brian De Palma directed with Kevin Costner. You remember that movie, The Untouchables? Yeah. Sean Connery was in it. And they also did Mission Impossible and Star Trek. And also when Desi Lu, you know, when they bought RKO, they created this playhouse, and one of the writers for this playhouse, I don't remember the show of it, but one of the writers was Rob Sterling, and that's how he began his career. And that's, you know, that's how we got the Twilight Zone, because Desi and Lucy gave Rob Sterling his kind of his big break writing for a show.
Oh,
and
wow.
yeah, it's a lot of history, you know.
You had told me about the Star Trek thing. I didn't know about that show. Yeah,
I just learned all this recently because I was really wanted to do the research on the subject, because my dad was I was dealing with family stuff. I was really diving into this show because I found it very comforting, you know, comforting, you know, because I love these characters. I wish I was part of this universe, you know. Yes. And just listening to the history of the show and just watching the show, it just made me feel warm inside, you know.
Yeah, that's what I Love Lucy does. Like, just watching any episode, you feel warm and fuzzy. You get a good laugh. You get the wholesome.
And this is a famous episode right here. This famous clip, the chocolate. Whenever you're ready, Manny, let's watch that.
Department. Yes, ma'am. Now, the candy will pass by on this
conveyor belt and continue into the next room where the girls will pack it. Now, your job is to take each piece of candy and wrap it in one of the papers and then put it back on the belt. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Let her roll! Let her roll! Well, wait here. Somebody's asleep at the switch.
What are you doing up here? I thought you were downstairs boxing chocolates. Oh, they kicked me out of there fast. Why? I kept pinching them to see what kind they were. This is the fourth department I've been in. Oh, I didn't do so well either.
All right, girls. Now, this is your last chance. If one piece of candy gets past you and into the packing room unwrapped, you're fired.
Yes, ma'am.
Let her roll!
They did this because they wanted to prove the boys that they could have jobs, right?
Right. They switched
Roles?
They were at home. Yeah, they switched roles.
I always imagined this was like C's Candy, you
Yeah,
know?
we can handle it,
Yeah.
I think.
It probably was.
Yeah,
To think this was really someone's job.
I think so. Before it became automated, you know?
Listen.
I remember my grandma. I could hear her calling.
Now they're a perfect duo, you know?
You know they didn't like each other.
I know they didn't like each other.
That even if Lucille Ball saw that Ethel, I don't remember her name, was getting
Vivian Vance.
there you go, Vivian. If she was getting thinner than her, she would
Yeah.
say something. She needs to gain weight or something.
Yeah, I heard the same story too, where like she thought the show was about her, but it's like the show is called I Love Lucy.
Fine, you're doing splendidly. Speed it up a
Imagine being in the audience. I bet you was like so loud, everyone just laughed.
Yeah. You know what's cool about like this? Like you get it's not like a cheesy laugh track. It's like the actual audience laughing, like really participating into it, you know?
It's authentic, yes.
Yeah, like with I don't know if you ever watched The Big Bang Theory, like the Big
Yes.
Bang Theory, like a lot of people like it, but like what I don't like about it is like the audience laughter is so canned. You know what I mean? You could tell like it's some guy just pressing the laugh track. But with
Yeah.
I Love Lucy, it's one of the rare shows you like the laughter is
Like, hear the
genuine. It's like
different
it's there.
pitches of the laughs.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember watching this one episode where like, Lucy came out, like her hair was all fried and she looked all disheveled, and the audience just completely lost it. There's like, yeah, that was like really, they made it like they gave us a lot of great moments.
They
What's-
really did.
What was one of your favorite moments?
Another one.
How about one with like, did your grandma watch I Love Lucy with you?
Oh yeah, I remember like my cousins coming over, like I said, on the weekends, and we would all gather and just watch it all together. I mean, my grandma didn't speak English, so she didn't like know exactly, but just watching and seeing all of the things that Lucy would do just made us all laugh.
Yeah.
I was telling my friend yesterday that one of my favorites too is when they get someone to pay their bills, and she decides to buy groceries for the whole building, and there's groceries everywhere around the
Yeah.
building. And then Ricky's like, well, where is she getting all this money? Because she gave him money for a haircut.
Yeah.
And then she has like just bread everywhere, bread or whatever, produce everywhere around the apartment.
Yeah.
That was
Like
hilarious.
this one comedian, his name was Jack Benny. He taught her how to be funny as like use your face for your expression. That's how you sell the scene, you know. So that's why she made all those like you know, like all
Yeah,
those
the sound effects help
this-
too.
yeah. Yeah. She said that Lucy Ball. She went to this drama school in New York, and none of her teachers believed in her. It's like, you should quit acting, and you're never going to make it in Hollywood. And she didn't, she didn't believe them, even though she was struggling. She was a struggling actress for a long time in Hollywood, and it wasn't until like she did that radio play for CBS that broke out her career and changed the whole television landscape. But yeah, it's just, I guess the lesson is don't quit your dreams.
Yeah,
Keep
keep
on
going.
pushing through. Yeah, you never know. And I was wondering, Manny, I know we have this other one. It's called Too Much. Can you actually do the Vitamin Vegemin one? That was like way funnier than the one that I have right now. Whenever you're ready. But yeah, like the Vitamin Vegemin, like that's a perfect scene where like she's using her facial expressions, and because she's getting drunk as she's doing like she's drinking the vitamin.
Because she wasn't
Yeah.
spitting out the cough syrup. Yeah.
Yeah, the cough syrup. How much percent do they have? Like 10% alcohol.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was another famous episode. Oh, we cool. Yeah. But yeah, and we're gonna kind of end it with like some I Love Lucy home videos, like behind the scenes stuff, and yeah, it's really good stuff. How about you guys? Oh, Philip Victor says like, wow, I never knew that I Love Lucy history. Pretty cool. Yeah, it's pretty cool, and like I don't really watch any other like black and white TV shows, like Leave It to Beaver. Or
the Andy Griffith show.
The Andy Griffith. I mean, I did in the beginning, like, but it doesn't. I don't know.
It doesn't call to me like I Love Lucy.
Yeah, and the same with. I never really got into the Honeymooners. I tried to watch it. But it just never. It never stuck with me. The Honeymooners.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, they made the Honeymooners into a movie back like in the early 2000s with Cedric the Entertainer. Do you guys remember that?
I know.
Yeah.
Is, but I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was a good movie.
No, I never heard of that.
Would you watch an I Love Lucy movie with different actors if it was like the I Love Lucy, like not like a biopic, but an I Love Lucy movie like the Brady Bunch movie in the 90s? Remember that was a pretty popular movie, the Brady Bunch movie.
I was like, as cheesy and corny as that Brady Bunch movie is,
it's pretty funny. Yeah, it was really good. Yeah, it worked.
If we can find someone that's gonna have that comedic timing, because they're not gonna be perfect like Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz.
Yeah.
Who knows? That might be good.
That's true, but so you're open to it?
I'm open to it.
I'm open to it too, but like I'm a little skeptical.
Yeah, because you're afraid they might kill it. But,
yeah. Because like I mean, it worked for the Brady Bunch movie.
Yeah.
But that was like 20 years ago. Oh, and the same with like Starchy and Hutch, the Starchy and Hutch movie with Ben Stiller.
Did you see that even Disney Plus has a little sitcom of that?
Which one?
Is it Starchy? Hutch? I might have it confused. I'm thinking of Turner and Hooch. I think the Tom Hanks movie with the dog.
Oh yeah, they remade it and it's on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
But yeah, like this is we're gonna watch this Vitamin. Yeah.
Hello, friends. I'm your Vitamita Vegemin girl. Are you tired, run down, listless? Do you poop out at parties? Are you unpopular? The answer to all your problems is in this little bottle.
Now you pick up the bottle.
Oh.
A little higher. That's right.
The answer to all your problems is in this little bottle. Vitamita Vegemin. Vitamita Vegemin contains vitamins, meat, vegetables, and minerals. Yes, with Vitamita Vegemin, you can spoon your way to health. All you do is take a tablespoonful after every meal.
Now you take some.
Oh. It's so tasty, too.
Doesn't it make you wonder, was it really that bad? Was it water?
I think it was just water. I think that was
just like
that was
candy.
No. Look, you're supposed to like the stuff. You've got to smile, be happy.
Yes.
Now try it again.
Yes.
She's trying to toughen up.
It's so tasty, too. Just like candy.
Nope, once more.
It's so tasty, too. It's just like candy.
That's going to be fine. You just go ahead.
Okay. So why don't you join the thousands of happy peppy people and get a great big bottle of Vitamita Vegemin tomorrow? That's Vitamita Vegemin. Hello, friends. I'm your Vitamita Vegemin girl. Are you tired, run down, listless? Do you poop out at parties? Are you unpopular? The answer to all your problems is in this little bottle. Vitamita Vegemin. Vitamita Vegemin contains vitamins, meat, vegetables, and minerals. Yes, with Vitamita Vegemin, you can spoon your way to health. All you have to do is take a big tablespoonful after every meal. It's so tasty, too. Tastes like candy. Honest.
You are getting drunk.
So why don't you join the thousands of happy peppy people and get a great big bottle of Vitamita Vegemin. Remember that name.
That was
Stream
really good,
85
man.
plus.
That was really good. That's fucking hits. Philip said, I like the original Three Stooges and the Little Rascals too. Those were both black and white television series that were really entertaining. They also remade them as movies years later with a different cast, but the movies didn't have the same charm as the original series. You know what? I didn't like. I grew up in the '90s, and the Little Rascals movies was pretty good. Did you like that movie, Ariana?
I like that movie. We actually
Yeah.
watched that not too long ago, my husband and I. So
Yeah, I want a pickle. I want a pickle. I want a pickle. Hey, 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 hey. Yeah, like I think it's because like we liked the Little Rascal movie because like we were like literally little kids when that
and
movie
there's so
came
many
out.
celebrities now that I watched it recently. And
Yeah.
there was Donald Trump.
However, like the Three Stooges
Great.
movie didn't hit. Like wasn't a good movie. Nah, that was terrible. I think they wanted Jim Carrey to play Curly at some point, and I like the original cast that they wanted, but like this cast is not. It wasn't good, and it was. I thought it was gonna be good because it was like the same directors who did Dumb and Dumber with the Three Stooges, but it just wasn't good. It just came out like as lame, lame duck. But that sucks. But maybe it's a good thing nobody tried to make a Lucy movie, like a Lucy movie,
Come on, yet.
Yet. Give it time, right?
Give it time.
Maybe in 20, yeah, maybe in
Everything
2030 or
will go
2040.
Come on, you're rustling feathers right now. This is gonna
Yeah.
go viral, and let's make
Yeah,
a
there's gonna be like,
movie.
there's gonna be a petition, right? An I Love Lucy petition movie.
Yeah.
Did he? Hey, this is off topic, but did you see that petition about Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith that they're trying to stop them from talking about the relationship?
No. Are you?
Yeah, because people are just fed up as like of their it's too much information. I was like, you keep that to yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a side topic.
That's a different story.
Yeah, different story. But yeah, like whenever you can, Manny, we're gonna watch some clips from TikTok, just like the home movies. And this is
Is this what Christina was talking about? Home movie?
this is Desi and Lucy's actual marriage. It's home movies. This is before they did the Lucy show. That's pretty cool. It's pretty touching, It's happy times.
Another thing right now, I'm just watching that. How much smoking there was on that show.
Yeah, and one of the sponsors was Philip Morris, and they were a major sponsor to their show, and they would do the cigarette ads. It was like with hardly a cigarette buzz, I was like, and it's sad because like that's how Desi ended up passing away from from lung cancer, 1986.
Alright.
Yeah, yeah, it's tough. Do you know how each of the cast members passed away?
No, do share.
Do share. Well, Vivian Vance, she died of breast cancer, and Lucy saw her just before she passed away. And then William Frawley, the guy who did Fred Mertz, he
Mhm.
died of a massive heart attack on Hollywood and Vine.
Oh wow.
And Lucy, she died at Cedar Sinai Hospital, I believe. Well, they were doing a heart surgery, and she was like doing a heart surgery for like hours, and she was recuperating, but then she had like a rupture, and she ended up passing away in 1989.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's tragic.
Did you watch the Lucy show?
No, I mean I've seen a few episodes, but it didn't.
I
Was
didn't
that
get
the-
into it either.
Yeah,
I tried.
I mean, I watched. I think the ones that I watched was like when they were at the cabin. Remember when they bought the cabin outside the city, and they were
Mhm.
farmers? Yeah,
Mhm.
that was still good. You know, that was like later on in the season.
Well, it was just weird because she had daughters, as used to the little
Oh
Ricky.
yeah. Whenever you can, Manny, if you could play that next home movie clip. I forgot what this one is, but we'll check it out. Oh yeah, it's another more home movies of them in Palm Springs.
At the close of the day, when I'm without you, and my heart kneels to pray, I pray about you. You take a star and leave
That's like Grandma and
it
Grandpa,
far
you know?
away from heaven.
I feel like I'm watching my home movie.
And the
Yeah.
star will be lost as I'm lost without you.
Yeah, like when they bought RKO Pictures, Ricky was in a lot of pressure, and he really got into alcohol, and he started becoming a drunk. And people avoided him when he was completely plastered, because he was a very mean man when he was drunk. And there was a story where Ricky, he would have tomato soup for breakfast, and they would pour vodka in it, and by the end of his breakfast, he would be completely smashed. And
Wow.
yeah, it's terrible. And he was like a womanizer, and there was a gossip rag that on Monday morning, Lucy read in this like kind of like a TMZ type of gossip rag, and it said that they caught Ricky at a brothel singing Babalu to these girls that he was sleeping with, and and Lucy was humiliated, and she had to face this, the crew of the Lucy show, and still play like the living wife on the show, and it was hard for her, and they said that ever since it came to light publicly that Desi was cheating on her, Lucy was never the same. She became more like paranoid, that she couldn't trust anybody else.
Well, yeah.
Very sad.
Broken heart.
Yeah, it's very hard. And here's a messed up story. Is like Ricky, Desi would they would host parties, and Desi would sleep with the women in their own home, and Lucy would get really pissed off. It's like, you don't fuck them in our room. If you need to fuck them, you fuck them in the cleaning room. And it got to that point. Yeah, they had a very toxic relationship. But I really wish, they're the television couple, because it's
That's
like
crazy because, I've always had them in this bubble image of like loving, and that was probably how they were in real life.
Yeah, it wasn't like that. They divorced in 1960, and they remarried, but the thing is, the kids, they said after their divorce, it seemed like they loved each other even more, because they got out of that relationship, and they still cared a lot for each other, and they basically forgave each other. Well, mostly Lucy on Desi, because it was mostly his ass cheating on her.
Yeah.
And but yeah, it was terrible. It's very sad. And but yeah, whenever you're ready, Ricky, whenever you're ready, Manny, you can play the next clip. A lot of history there. Let's see. Robert says Lucy and Ricky fucked up. I guess.
But I didn't ask her to dance. She asked me.
Can't you say no?
So window
Of course not. It's
to
not
their
polite.
jealousy.
Yeah.
Don't forget, we're guests here in London.
You better learn how to be rude before we get to Paris.
Yep.
And Angela Randall is just a nice stage-struck girl.
Aha!
What?
You know her name.
Of course I know her name.
Yeah, well,
But what's wrong with asking her name?
The first time you danced with me, you asked me my name, and look what happened. Sure you did. Hello, stranger.
I didn't realize it, but I guess I've been monopolizing Ricky ever since he got here. What must you think?
Would you really like to know?
I borrow Ricky. I promised Cecily I'd be there. She's always managing to get celebrities at her country estate, and I just want to take Ricky down there to show him off. He's a prize.
Yes, well, that prize belongs in my box of Cracker Jack.
It's very flattering of you to be jealous, but I didn't ask her to dance. She asked me.
Can't you say no?
Of course not. It's not polite. Don't forget we're guests here in London.
You better learn how to be rude before we get to Paris.
Angela
But that was
Randall
a
is
really
just a
like,
nice
that was kind of like a
stage-struck
little
girl.
light into their personal relationship, you know, like
Yeah, like
the jealousy and Ricky like talking to other women and kind of playing it out. It's like, oh, they're just, you know, we're just coworkers, quote unquote, you know.
Mhm.
But yeah, in the end, when Lucy and Desi divorced, Lucy ended up buying Desi's portion of the studio. So she was the first woman who owned a major motion picture in Hollywood, which was RKO Pictures.
Oh, wow.
And and eventually RKO Pictures merged into Paramount Pictures. And there's this restaurant. I remember when I was working across the street from a studio, across the street from Paramount Pictures, there was a Mexican restaurant. I forgot the name, but it's literally right across the street from Paramount Pictures. And they said that was Lucy's favorite Mexican place to eat. And it's still there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I ate there like back in 2007. It's very like the decor never. It seemed like it never changed. It still looks like it was. They never changed anything about it. So yeah, if you guys ever go to Hollywood and see that Mexican restaurant across from Paramount, that is you should check that out. But yeah, this is another clip. This is a really funny clip. This is when Lucy moves to Hollywood because Ricky's doing a movie and she meets William Holden. And just like her facial expressions was really funny about like, this clip.
It's true though that this episode, that's how like celebrities probably feel like.
Oh, for reals, yeah.
But now we have like our phones, we just whip them out and like record them.
Yeah.
While they're in Hollywood, Ethel has her autograph book ready.
Oh yeah, that's right. That actor right there, he was in the Omen Part 2, where you know the Omen Damien goes into the military school and figures out he's the son of Satan. Did
Right.
you know that?
Yeah.
That was the actor who played the uncle who adopted him after his adopted father was killed in the first one.
Oh,
But it was, yeah, that's a little factoid for you guys right there, William Holden. But yeah, like a lot of guests a lot of guests were part of the I Love Lucy show, like Orson Welles, what's his name? John Wayne. Who else? The original guy who played Superman was in that. The I
yeah,
Love
I
Lucy
remember
movie,
that
the I Love
episode.
Lucy show. Yeah, I remember that too. And who else was part of like? This is like a huge
There
list
was like
of
a
famous
golfer.
people.
I remember the golfing episode, but I
Yeah.
don't remember the name.
Yeah, there were tons of people like they loved I Love Lucy. You know, like
Everyone
the
did,
celebrities. Yeah. I
Did you
guess
ever get a chance to watch any of the episodes in color?
you know. Yeah, like in watching them in color, kind of like it doesn't hit for me. You know, like I don't. I like it watching
Did
it
it take
in
away
black.
the magic?
Yeah, I like it in black and white for some reason. You know.
You know, I thought I was excited to see an episode because they played it maybe a year ago or 2 years ago because I wanted to see the colors of the fashion, but I'm like,
Yeah.
it just isn't the same.
It's not the same. I just like I was watching some clips like in color, and you know it's the same thing. It's just in color, you know, but it just doesn't feel right.
Not the same.
Yeah, it's not the same. And actually, I think Manny, I think I did send you one that was in color. Uh, when if you could find that one. But yeah, it's just it's not. I think it just doesn't hit right. And what was your favorite season of I Love Lucy, Ariana? Was it the one where like they moved to Hollywood, or the one they traveled to Europe, or the one where they moved to the country?
I cannot. Oh, you know what? It's all a tie.
It's all good.
It's
all
all
good.
a tie. It's
Oh,
all.
this one is a clip from one of the movies that they produced.
Just breezing
And the
along
movie's
with
called
the
The Long Long Trailer. It didn't do well with the movies,
trailing a
but
trail,
the reason I chose this clip is because
roaming the sea.
this is how I want to see them, loving each just loving each other.
Like the birds that sing in the tree,
Tweet, tweet, tweet.
facing to live, for living to breathe.
The sky is the only roof I have over my head.
And when I'm weary, Mother Nature makes me
It's kind of weird to see them in color.
Yeah.
We're just going along as we please.
Yeah, this movie bombed in the theater when it came out.
Breezing along with the breeze.
Yeah. Do you remember watching this movie, Ariana?
No.
No. They actually used their names, like like Lucy and Ricky, like
Oh,
even in
really?
that movie. Yeah. And when I was watching it as a kid, I'm like, wait, is this the I Love Lucy movie? What is this? Yeah. And then because like the plot of the story is like they're gonna go camping and they're hauling this long trailer, and of course there's a scene where like Lucy's trying to make lunch, and the trailer gets like they're going up a hill and everything gets tossed around. It's just like
You know what? That seems
slapstick
familiar
stuff.
Now that you said that. But
Yeah.
Maybe I did watch it. I just don't remember till now.
And this was a pretty good episode. It's like Lucy's taking care of Ricky because he was sick, because he's sick, because he has
The doctor
COVID.
said you got to take your medicine.
No.
Now, the doctor said you have to take your medicine.
He writes it bigger.
Don't shout at me. Now, when I say you got to take medicine, that means you got to take it. Now, Ricky, look what you did. Oh, you're going to act like a child. I'm going to treat you like one.
This is
Open
before
your
the
mouth.
movie.
Open your mouth. Open it up. Never mind. Doctor said you got to take your medicine.
Hey, do you think does when your
the
husband
doctor-
when he gets sick, does he act like a baby? Like, does he act like Ricky? Like, because they're just poking fun of how men
Times
like
10 to the
babies.
second power, yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I like to be coddled when I'm sick. I'm gonna take care of me.
Did I
I'm
tell you
dying.
that my husband never watched I Love Lucy before he married me?
Oh, really?
Yes. So we
cool.
actually had a I Love Lucy marathon, and
That's
yeah,
sweet.
he was like, "Why have I not watched this?" And I'm like, "I don't know. Where were you?"
Yeah. When Alex met us, because he didn't watch I Love Lucy either, and nor the Golden Girls, and we introduced him to I Love Lucy, and of course he fell in love with the show.
Cool to watch something old, but with someone new that's never seen it, and to see their reaction.
Yeah, it is because it validates it,
Yeah.
Oh, and this clip that we're gonna watch right now is Christina's clip that she sent us, and we're gonna check it out together, and let's see what it is. Oh yeah, this one.
Mi vida,
I remember this one.
vaya con Dios, mi amor.
This is what I was thinking about. Yeah.
I'm an old pal hand from the Rio Grande, and my legs ain't smooth, and my cheeks ain't tan.
Las campanas de la iglesia suenan triste.
Reach for the ceiling, both of you.
Oh, heard them all on the radio. Yippee-yi-yo-ki-yay.
Vaya con Dios, mi vida.
It was like one of my favorite episodes. Sure.
Mi amor.
Hold it! I didn't cut them cards. Are you accusing me of cheating? Yep, I'm accusing you of cheating. Come on, when you say that.
Vaya con Dios, mi vida. Vaya con Dios.
Oh, it's going back.
Yeah.
Barnyard is not.
Fat rock is name like it's and there is no other.
Sit down, look on that. Siempre sabes mi amor. Siempre sabes mi amor. Come on. Hey. Yes, girl. Let's check it out. Hey, whoa.
The smoke. Now let's just like the latest technology just to do that.
For reals. They call that special effects.
This is a Ricky Ricardo production.
I got wind of it.
Yeah, because she was like a producer who was watching that show, right? Like their
Right.
clips. Yeah, and she wanted to, of course, she wanted to worm her way in there.
Of
And,
course.
it's
Make her way
classic.
in there.
Shenanigans. You know?
I like the one where she gets her way into meeting the queen,
Mhm.
and then she gets stuck with her curtsy. And
Oh yeah. That's how you curtsy. And then there was an episode that they went to Cuba, and then she accidentally called Ricky's father or uncle
uncle,
like
yeah,
like he had too much, like he was fat,
yeah.
too much grasa or something like that.
She,
and it was like
she
this
tried
big
to say
thing.
thank you and mucha grasa. Yeah.
Yeah. And here's another factoid. That episode, they didn't air that episode for 10 years because of the whole Cuban thing. The whole communists with what's his name? Castro.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, because what was going on in the 60s with Castro, they banned that episode for 10 years. Yeah.
That's also one of my favorites because little Ricky plays with him at
Yeah, he plays the
and the
Babalu
night
thing.
club.
Yeah, I remember that.
I always get goosebumps when I watch that episode. I just feel like it must have been like, wow, I have my kid and my wife and my kid, like, because in my head they're picture perfect.
Yeah.
But little Ricky trying his hardest to keep up with his dad, and then you
Yeah.
see the passion of big Ricky, of Desi playing with him. Yeah, I like that episode.
Yeah, that kid practiced a lot for that scene. He felt like he didn't nail it, but yeah, I think he nailed it. You know,
It
looked really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and before we call it a night. Well, a lot of people don't know, which I didn't know either. Listening, learning some new factoids for I Love Lucy is that in the fourth season, Lucy was worried that like her dreams were get ruined because something was going to happen, and she just had this feeling that something was going to take all away from her. And what ended up happening is that during the McCarthy era, she was blacklisted during this radio show that had like 40 million listeners. And she said, this is the height of the I Love Lucy show. And they said that Desi Ball, she registered as a communist. And and the reason she registered as a communist is because her grandpa Hunt, was a communist, and she was like, he held like events in their pad, and she, they had like, she didn't think anything of it. She thought it was like, oh, this is about the working man, because there was nothing nefarious going on. It's just like, it's like about the common people, common man, and so they named that, they named her during this radio show, and it almost destroyed the I Love Lucy empire. And the FBI went down to the ranch and they did an investigation with Lucy Ball, and in their conclusion, they said that she was politically immature, so they dropped the case and she was fine. But after that, they needed the approval of the public. So Ricky Desi Arnaz, before they did a live taping of the I Love Lucy show, he spoke to the audience what's going on. He introduced Lucy, and Lucy was very terrified that if they were going to start booing her, she would completely lose it. She'll like cry, and she'll cry, and she'll lose it. But she was touched that when she gave her speech, like everybody clapped and they loved her. The audience loved Lucy, and they forgave Lucy Ball for being a communist. Yeah, so
she grew up that way. She didn't know any better.
she didn't know any better. It's like, well, my grandpa wanted, so I'm a communist.
That was it.
Yeah, she didn't even vote for communist. She just did it, because her grandpa wanted her to register as a communist. But yeah, so that is our Lucy clip show. I appreciate you guys for checking us out. Ariana, thank you for coming.
Thanks for having
joining
me. That was lots
Yeah.
of fun.
I'm glad that I filled your head with a bunch
Fun
of Lucy
facts.
facts. Yeah, that was really
My
fun.
Lucy 101.
Yeah, that was really, really fun. And we'll see each other again soon, virtually or physically. And if you guys are watching this, please remember to hit follow on Facebook. And if you guys can, go on YouTube, hit like and subscribe, and smash that notification bells to catch the latest episodes of Casually Christian presented by Livestream My Event. You don't want to miss that, because on December 18th, we're going to have our live Christmas show. It was not going to be remote. We're going to have guests. We're going to talk about everything about Christmas, how we spent this year, and just thinking about the positive stuff. It's warm feelings, you know what I mean? We're gonna have like cookies, eggnog, and all that. So please join us December 18th at 5:00. It will be a fun show. It'll be a fun gay old show. And also, if you guys want to listen to my beautiful voice, please, if you're gonna see this QR code on the side, please scan that, and it'll take you to our podcast, SoundCloud, and whatever episodes you guys want to listen to is right there. 44 hours of Casually Christian at the ready. So until next time, guys, we'll see each other soon. Be safe. It's almost the weekend. Thank God tomorrow's Friday, and I'll see you guys soon. Have a good night, guys. Later.